This is our landing page. This is where you come when you want to learn about Crow before you integrate it into your workflow. This page gives you context on Crow, how it works, what it does, and how you can use it. So the first thing you'll see is our chat interface. From then on, you move on to a short description about Crow. Crow unifies website analytics, CCTV insights, and social feedback into one model. Moving on, you can see the features that Crow has, such as the interactions, the APIs, and our chat interface, which you saw before. From then on, the most important part, or what most people come looking for, is our pricing plan. Here we have a detailed explanation as to what our components cost. Mind you, this is not finalized as we are still in development, but this should give you a good background as to what to expect. We have set 1 million interactions and patterns per month, as well as detailed explanations on what this service does. We also have yearly and monthly options, with the yearly offering a discount. From then on, if you are a developer or interested in learning about Crow's development process and what it has to offer in the side of IT, you can take a look at our documentations. We offer our developer docs, API references, SDK and libraries, as well as our open security. Let's move on to the actual chat interface, the highlight of Crow. Let's start a chat. The load time may be a bit slow because we are still in our development phase, but as you can see, the chat interface opens with a friendly message giving you an insight as to what Crow has to offer and how you can interact with us. From this chat interface, you can learn about Crow, about what it does and how it works and how you can integrate it. Now, let's go through the sign-up flow for Crow. We click sign up. Here, you are given the ability to enter your credentials. Let's enter a name, a work email, as well as a password. After agreeing to the terms and conditions, you can continue and create an account. Or you also have the option to continue with Google. For demo purposes, let's go with the normal sign-up flow. Now we come to the part where you create your organization. For demo purposes, we'll be using Rogue Store. Rogue Store is a fake website that we created for demo purposes. Now that your organization is created, you have now moved on to the pricing section. This is where you can customize your plan with the needs of your business. You have an option to bill monthly or annually. Here, you can select whichever components you require. For this, let's go with the web component. Now, let's continue to check out. We have Stripe set up as our payment provider. You have the option to pay in either LKR or US dollars, whichever is comfortable. Let's go through with the payment flow. Let's enter an email. A credit card information. We have a dummy card set up for demo purposes. Let's enter the cardholder name. And then we have our region already selected. After subscribing, you'll be verified and redirected to connect your products. Now, since we have Rogue Store set up, what we'll be doing is going to our Rogue Store, copying the URL, and then pasting it here. You see, what's happening here is that after connecting Rogue Store, a background task is created that crawls through Rogue Store and grabs all the products available and pulls it into our Pro website. Let's continue. And now, here, you can connect your sources. Since we only chose the web component, we are given a guide on how you can install the web component. You can see your API key here, as well as install instructions on how to get it working. Let's continue. And now we move on to our team setup. Here, what you can do is invite members of your team to work with you on Crow. Let's add one member. After pressing enter, you can see that the email has been verified. Now what you can do is choose what features you want to give access to. This acts as a sort of hierarchy within your organization. Let's give Thanuka all the access. Now, additionally, in the chat interface, we'll be giving him access to the web component as well as a one-year look-back window. Let's send invites. Let's finish our setup. Now let's go to dashboard. Now, since we've already gone through the sign-up process, and since that did not have sufficient the data recorded, let's go into an account that has been signed into before and as actual data that we can review. Now, when you come into your Crow dashboard, the first thing you see in your overview is the key changes across channels. So here you can see your overall interactions, your overall patterns, the top patterns, and your latest interactions as well. And more importantly, your connected sources. Here we can see that web, CCTV, and social are connected, as well as the current number of events that are active. The green light indicates that it is currently working. Now moving on to the Ask Crow section, which is the primary chat interface. This is where you and Crow work together to sort of discuss about your business and what's going on, to analyze the patterns with your requirements. So let's start a small chat. As this is still being fine-tuned, we'll move on. Moving on to the analysis section, here is where you can identify your interactions and patterns. You can sort them out and you can filter them to your requirements for easy and better access and review. The difference here is that interactions are individual occurrences on your websites, on your stores, and the patterns are actually culminations of similar kinds of interactions that our AI agent identifies and records. For example, let's say that in your website, a group of customers come in, go to a specific product, but they always click off after seeing the second image. That sort of repeated interaction is recorded as a pattern. And that is what you can see in the analysis pattern set platform. Now moving on to teams. Here is where you can manage and sort of work through with your team members. You can control the acts, you can add team members, you can sort them throughout from owner, admin, you can check their active status, and you can invite members. So let's go through with an invitation. Here, I can choose to invite them as a member, a viewer, or an admin. Let's add Tanuka as an admin. After clicking enter, you can see that his email has officially been registered. Then we can send the invitation. Now, moving on to the product section. This is what happens after you enter your store link through the sign up process. It goes through your active product catalog and stores it here for easy access. The reason that all the products or the images have not loaded yet is because it's still going through the crawling process. Now, integrations is where you can check what services have been integrated And if you want to go through integrating a new service, you can simply click on to find out the integration process. Moving on to billing. This is where you can manage your active subscription and also upgrade if needed. This is where you can see your active usage as well as which services are active. If you don't have one service subscribed, you can always subscribe from here. And this is our Crow dashboard. So now I'll be guiding you through our web component. So for this purpose, we have created our Rogue store. And to showcase the functionality of our web component, you can see in the console that events are being tracked and displayed as to interactions that are happening in the store. So let's say that we picked one of these products. The service updates accordingly and sends chunks to our cloud. So here on our dashboard, you can see the data that has been sent from Roadster. Now, as much data as there is, it's very impractical to explain and show here because there is no actual visible way to represent it. So instead, I will be guiding you through with this Excalibur diagram that we have set up. So what happens is the client browser, or in this case, Rogue Store, is integrated with our website hook SDK, and we collect data as you saw in the console. Now, this data is then sent to the web ingest service. Here, we have created a auto session creation as well as a durable object which acts as an alarm. So the way this works is when a session is created, we give the session a 1 hour timer. Within this 1 hour timer, if there is no session activity, the session is then closed. There is activity, the timer resets. Now, when a session is closed, what happens is this session ID is sent to our core interaction service. Now, from the core interaction service, it takes this ID and calls back to our web ingest, asking, hey, this session is here. I have this ID. Can you give me the data which occurred in this session? Now, that data is then sent back into our core interaction service. And before the actual interactions are generated, there is a bit of pre-processing, which occurs to sort of map the journey of our user. However, I won't be going into much detail as it is going to be a very long explanation. So let's move on from the core interaction service, because from here is how we find why a user interaction happened. For example, let's say the reasoning behind why the user left. Here we have 3 layers of sort of data sorting. Now, when it comes to the reasoning, the first layer is sort of aggressive data, such as if a product was out of stock, slow page loading, or if there are sort of rage clicks. This kind of aggressive data is classified under layer 1. Layer 2 has sort of normalized data, such as a user's normal interactions. Layer 3 is more so to filter out any redundant data or sort of sessions that don't give us any sort of information. And from there, we move on to this set of instructions. Now, these instructions are injected into this reasoning that we pulled out from our interaction layer. And to this, we also inject our core product service and organization service for better context to sort of make these interactions work out better. And these instructions, along with the context from the services, is pushed through to our multimodal setup. Now, this multimodal setup is what is used to find the judgment or the actual reasoning, the human reasoning behind why the customer left. So after passing through our layer sort and filtering through the instructions, our agentic setup then goes through its behavior agent, the performance friction agent, commerce reality agent. All these work together to find the reasoning and give you, the client, the reason as to why your customer left. Now, this judgment is what you receive through our chat dashboard.